Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Pete from Heaps More Nice here. Just doing a video talking about my Alpkit Soloist and why I've decided to sell this after 12 months of great use. Three things about the Alpkit Soloist that initially brought me to it. So this was my first ever backpacking and wild camping tent. I thought for the price, for £119.99 pound, I thought, wow, what an amazing price to get into backpacking, to be able to start to build up a bit of an appetite for it. After having this for 12 months and taking it out on about 5 or 6 different trips, one thing I've noticed about this is, although it's incredibly light at about 1.4, it is tiny. Like it is tiny. With a wide pad in there, or even a regular pad, or your kit for a couple of days out in the field, it is just a incredibly small tent. It is lightweight, like I said. It is quite a comfortable ride in your backpack, but the one thing I just couldn't get to grips with is just how small and how cramped it is within inside of the tent. Alrighty, let's get this thing set up. Alrighty, so we've got this set up with just the inner at the moment. As you can see by the shape of the tent, it is a freestanding tent, which is fantastic. However, one of the biggest problems that I've noticed with this tent is actually the center brow. If there's any strong wind coming in from the sides, there's no force stopping this from shaking in incredibly high winds, unless you pitch it up with the wind either facing the front or the back of the tent, so it cuts over kind of like a knife. The inner of the tent is actually quite small. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump in so you can see what a guy of about 173 centimeters and about 69 kilos and quite a standard build looks like inside the Soloist. Even though I've had this for 12 months, I'm still trying to figure out how to get into this tent, because your head is meant to be right here, right where the door is, right where the vestibule is. Let me show you the way I think you should get into this tent, but it doesn't really make any sense to me. You kind of do the crap. And I'm in. Is that right? If you know how to get in this tent properly, leave me a comment down below. I've thought about going in head first and switching my entire body around, but it's a small tent, you're going to hit the walls. Yeah, let me know. Now that I'm in the tent here, let me give you a little bit of an overview of what can you expect from the interior space. You've got a small little pocket just in the corner here. I normally whack in my phone. You can also use that pocket to store all of this additional door as well. But if you do that, there's not much room for anything else. You can put your wallet and keys in there. As you can see, I keep kind of hitting my head on this every time I want to come in and come out of the tent. Like I said, I'm not the tallest guy in the world. I'm 173. For headroom, I don't know if you can see through the upper mesh here. My back fully upright, like my head is right at the very top, right on the sides. I don't want to get back pains when I'm older, so I don't want to be hunched over all the time in this tent. So I've got a regular wide Neo Air X-Lite pad in here. There is a couple of inches of room on either side of the tent, but by the time you've got all of your gear in here, because there's not much room in the vestibule to store stuff at all. I'll show you that in a second. But once you've got your thermals, your down jacket, you've got a hoodie, a beanie, your spare pair of clothes for tomorrow, or whatever it is, there is not much room in here for you to feel comfortable, and it actually makes you feel quite claustrophobic in a one-person tent. As you can see, I've now got my pack in the very small vestibule space. if it was raining out, well, I've got no room in the tent to put my bag. I've got no room outside of the tent to put my bag. So I've now got nowhere to cook. I've got nowhere to try and dry my stuff on the outside of my tent. And I would say this size of bag, the Sierra Designs Flex Capacitor 40 to 60 litre in the size small medium actually, is a comparable size bag to like an Osprey Exos 48 or anything in that size category in other bags. So it's a good tent in theory, unless you're just carrying a tent, a sleeping bag, and a roll mat in your hands as you're out walking in the backcountry. Probably not. You're not going to be able to use this vestibule for anything apart from gear storage, and that's it. You may be asking yourself, Pete, if you're selling your one-person tent, what are you buying instead? Well, I'm proud to show you, for the first time on my socials and on this YouTube, my TarpTent Scarp 1. So let's just set this up, give you a quick intro to it, because this is a awesome tent that is built like a bomb for UK conditions. One of the biggest differences between these two tents, just as quickly, is the actual pegs themselves. These are by Easton. They are super light. You get 6 of them in this great peg bag. One thing to note, like the BA tent we just reviewed, is they don't come with any actual cordage to be able to pull them out. That's fine. We got some on order, so nothing to worry about. And just look how big this actual tent is. The great thing about it is that it's an outer pitch first, so you don't need to faff around in the rain to put the inner up, then the outer. Everything is pitched in one. So let's chuck some gear in just to look at a side-by-side comparison as to why I bought this tent over the Soloist by Alpkit. This is a palace for a one-person tent. On TarpTent's website, it does say that you can sneak in 2 people on 2 regular 3/4 length pads. So depending on the weather and the gear that my wife Ellen and I have available, what we'll most likely do is either use this, may look into the 2-person version as well. One thing I just wanted to touch on that I cannot do with the Alpkit tent is have my bag next to me. There it is. It is in the tent next to me, which is fantastic. If I have a smaller bag, or even a larger bag, what I can do additionally as well is adjust the vestibule to make it as big or as little as I want. So now I can put my bag out here if I've got some boots, like my Lone Peaks here. I can whack them in, I can easily cook here, and it's great. Another great thing about this tent is, let me just quickly show you. There we go. I can lift this up to get some added ventilation to come in, which is a awesome way to be able to use the tent. So there we go. I can easily get some ventilation in throughout the night. What I can do as well is if I'm cooking in the vestibule, I can actually unzip it from the top, so all the steam and condensation from my cook kit goes straight out the top. 3 things to note about the inner of this tent. This inner that you see now is completely replaceable. I've actually got the winter inner at the moment. I've also got the summer inner just at home as well. There are 2 albeit small pockets at the head end of the tent. That's fine. As you can see, there's enough room for me to lay out my gear, both in the vestibule, adjusted, both beside me as I'm sleeping. And another thing as well is, I can sit upright and still have a little bit, about an inch worth of room between me and the top of the tent. Here's an added bonus. I can get out of the tent without hitting my damn head on the vestibule every single time. 3 more things to mention here. There are 2 doors to be able to get in and out. They are identical. All of the functionality is exactly the same. Second thing to notice, this tent is actually 4 seasons and it can bear snow loads. There is an optional extra which I do have at home, which I completely forgot, so we'll overlay a photo of it. But you've got these toggles here on both sides. There are 4 of them here, 4 of them on the other sides, and just where you actually peg this out to the ground, there's a little eyelet. You put that all together and it actually adds 2 extra cross poles to be able to bear the heavy wind, heavy rains, but also snow. The third thing to notice, and this is my wife's favorite thing about every single tent, is the bathtub flooring. So on this one here, you've got about a good 4 to 5 inches, and with the overall fly coming down very close to the ground, so there's about an inch, half an inch worth of room, you will be safe and sound knowing that no rain will be bouncing into your tent at night. So there we have it. I'm selling my fantastic Alpkit Soloist tent, and I'm very proud to be owning a TarpTent Scarp 1, albeit a very shoddy pitch at the moment. I'm still learning how to pitch it correctly. This is only my 3rd time pitching it. So over the next couple of months, I'll be doing a full deep dive, in-depth review of the TarpTent Scarp 1 and why so many UK backpackers and mountaineers own this tent. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. It's been Pete from Heaps More Nice, and we shall see you in another video.